Oh, hey, what up? It's me, your boy. This. I'm gonna let you guys just read it for a second and breathe it in, breathe it out, breathe it in, breathe it out, and leave it out, because this is not, I don't think this Book of Trump sounds like a Monty Python sketch. Yes, absolutely. I would love that. That would be amazing. I would be so happy if there was a Monty Python sketch of what that book would read like. But Miriam Adelson, or Adelson, sorry, not Stun, Son, wants a Book of Trump in the Bible. We ask experts if that's possible. We asked an expert if that's possible. I don't know why it wouldn't be possible, though it does seem unlikely, and I would also think that it would sort of go the line of the Book of Mormon, where there's been a book that's been added and some people accept it and some people don't, and it kind of becomes its own sect of a religion. Don't tempt them, Laura. Monty Python might do it. That would be amazing. That would be amazing. So, let's take a look. Las Vegas, oh, get out. No, get out of here. I also had to look up who this was, because I was like, who is this person? She's a physician. She donated, her and her husband donated a lot to Trump, and they got an award for it. Yeah. Alright. In the Bible lives a cast of characters thousands of years old. There's Job and Esther and Daniel. But what about Trump? Read the writings of Miriam Adelson, the Israeli-American wife of GOP mega donor Sheldon Adelson, and you'll find her case to expand the Holy Book with a story named after the 45th President of the United States. Quote, would it be too much to pray for a day when the Bible gets a Book of Trump, much like it has a Book of Esther, celebrating the deliverance of the Jews from ancient Persia? Adelson wrote in a column published on July 6th in the Las Vegas Review-Journal, a newspaper the Adelsons own. She wrote a... Okay. Please tell me that I can read it. Oh, I can read it. Oh, goody. Oh, goody. I'll get out of here. Under his watch, America finally made good on decades-old pledges to formally recognize Jerusalem as Israel. Oh, are we really gonna talk about what's going on with Israel right now? Is that really the conversation? That this is the timing on this? When was this posted? When was this published? July 6, 2019. Okay, this was posted in 2019. Everybody can calm down. Ooh. Oh boy. Oh boy. Adelson contends Donald Trump should enjoy sweeping support among U.S. Jews and Israelis, so much so that he deserves pages in the Bible. But could it be that simple? The USA Today network reached out to Dr. Joel M. Hoffman, a Jewish Bible scholar and author of, quote, The Bible Doesn't Say That, to talk about what Adelson's proposal says about this political movement. In an email, Hoffman explained the main players in the Book of Esther, how they might relate to modern Trump storyline, and whether anyone can even add a book to the Bible. What was your reaction to seeing Miss Adelson's quote about the Book of Trump? I was surprised enough to think that perhaps it has been misquoted, but once I read the article, I think I saw what she's trying to say, and though I disagree with her conclusion, she opens the door to interesting questions, end quote. I can't use an ad block because it's like, no, you have to use, if you use, believe me, I would be using ad block if I could be using ad block. It doesn't let you read the site if you don't use an ad block. Don't at me. I'm not that new to the internet. Come on. Come on now. Don't be mean to me. I have my Firefox with ad block on it and my Google Chrome without ad block on it, so that way I don't have to worry about it. Anyway. Why is the Book of Esther significant in Jewish history? The Book of Esther addresses what it's like for Jews to live in a non-Jewish country. Three of the key characters from the book are kings, I'm not trying to pronounce that, a ruler who is unwittingly turned against the Jews, the king's conniving advisor, Haman, who convinces King, I'm not trying to pronounce that, to kill all of the Jews, and Esther, the heroine who, at her cousin's urging, saves the Jews from Haman and the king, whose name I'm not trying to pronounce. Interestingly, the Book of Esther is set in Persia, modern-day Iran. Iran was a flashpoint in antiquity, just as it is now. What do you suppose Miriam Adelson is trying to say in her column? I looked at Miss Adelson's full article. I think her point is that Jews should embrace President Trump in the same way that Jews embrace Esther. I think Miss Adelston believes that President Trump can save the Jews. But he's aligned with Nazis. How do you come to this conclusion? I don't understand. Oh no. I think Miss Adelson believes that President Trump can save the Jews. Well, good for you in your other country where your ad blocker actually works properly. Stop being mean to me. I'm telling on you. I think she is genuinely surprised that more people don't love the current president as much as she does. Yeah, fair. What does the suggestion that President Trump should get his own biblical book say about this current political movement? I think people today, not for the first time incidentally, are terrified about the future, and that their fear sometimes causes them to abandon due diligence and even common sense. I think we often perceive malice on the part of public figures when what we're really seeing is a reaction to nearly incapacitating fear. Both? Can it be both? I think both. Can a new book be added to the Bible? There is no way to add another book to the Jewish Bible. As I describe in the Bible's cutting room floor, many timeless and invaluable books were cut from the canon to create the Bible as we know it, both Jewish and Christian. And even some of the books that are in the Bible almost didn't make it. Who chooses which books go into the Bible? Both for Jews and Christian, the books of the Bible were finalized in the early part of the first millennium, well over 1,000 years ago. Jews and Christians and even various Christian sects chose different books. No one knows the exact details on how the decisions were made. Have there been other times in history when someone tried to add books to the Bible? I can't think of any time since the Bible was first created that someone tried to add a new book, but I'm reminded of many false messiahs, charismatic leaders who passed themselves off as the Messiah, either to perpetuate a fraud or having convinced themselves of their own near divinity. These false messiahs usually arise in turbulent times and, though often welcomed at first, leave behind terrible damage and misery. I don't know if there's much of a description of Trump's political career. It's welcomed at first, leave behind terrible damage and misery. Church of Latter-day Otters, I'd take that. That'd be great. Are there other examples of the Bible surfacing in the political realm? A good part of most of my recent book, The Bible Doesn't Say That, deals with how politicians have used and misused the Bible. For example, the Bible was once used to support slavery, as in an 1864 publication by the Reverend Ebenezer W. Warren, to promised, quote, a vindication of Southern slavery based on, quote, the Old Testament and New Testament, end quote. Similarly, modern leaders misrepresent the Bible to condemn abortion and same-sex marriage. How would you characterize the views of the Jewish population on Trump's administration? I think Jews fall into the same three broad groups as the rest of the country. 1, people who love President Trump. 2, people who believe that he's bad but probably not as awful as some people fear. And 3, people who think he's destroying America. Or, to return to Miss Adelson's article, some people think President Trump is a savior like Esther. Some people think he's like the bumbling and manipulatable king whose name I'm not trying to pronounce. And some people think he's the evil Haman. Or Haman, which I'm probably also pronouncing incorrectly. How would you characterize this moment in human history? 2,000 years ago, when Jesus walked the streets of Jerusalem, Jews of the day feared that they were living through unprecedented times. They worry that a millennium of nearly continuous prosperity in the holy city was coming to an end. They were right. They worried that Judaism, too, would end. They were wrong about that. They worried about Rome. They worried about modernity. They worried about the future. I've told audiences all over the world about this ancient sense of unprecedented times. Then I ask how many people feel that we too are living through unprecedented times. Most hands go up. There seems to be an overwhelming dread now that we are living through unprecedented turmoil and upheaval. People are terrified about what's happening and what's going to happen. I take comfort in knowing that we are hardly the first generation to fear the future. In a sense, we are today like an adolescent encountering puberty, scared and shocked by what is going on, but wrongly thinking that we alone are enduring these surprising changes. I see a lot of similarities between life today and life 2,000 years ago. For example, reports from 2,000 years ago include ridiculous things like a cow giving birth to a lamb, even though people knew as well back then as they do now that such a thing is impossible. Well, People today are likewise so upset that they sometimes wonder if the universe is itself broken. The universe itself is broken. And they sometimes ignore what they know to be true. But that is a very interesting interview, in my opinion, asking. These are some good questions to ask when presented with the question: should there be a book of Trump, and should it be added to the Bible, which is the other question, right? I agree with the scholar. I do not think a book of Trump would be appropriate to add to a Bible. But would a book of Trump have some kind of value now and in the future? Because, I think he should write it, because I think that would be amazing. I would read a book of Trump written by Trump. That would be super duper funny. But I don't think that's really what they're talking about. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think the book of Esther was written by Esther, right? So it would have to be written by somebody else, but it would be way more interesting if you made a book of Trump, the trilogy. And so you have one book written by somebody of the three people, right? There's people who love Trump, people who think are kind of in the center, and then people who are batshit afraid and hate him. So you have three books all about one guy that written by like professional writers and people who and write all three. That would be great. Book of Trump 1, Book of Trump 2, and Book of Trump 3, and then make it its own Bible, and then they can have their own religion based on those three books. I think it'd be great. Why don't we take a look and see what Miriam actually wrote? So please keep in mind this was wrote on July 6, 2019. So this was written in 2019. So any current political affairs have not currently happened. So bear that in mind. Cherishing, promoting, and safeguarding the U.S.-Israeli alliance is a personal matter for my husband Sheldon and me. Literally, our marriage of Sabra to a native of the United States, of an IDF veteran to the U.S. Army veteran. Of two children of immigrants who, on opposite sides of the globe, pursued Zionist and American dreams that are in so many ways identical, is a daily manifestation of unique relationship between our two nations. When Sheldon and I first met, again, this is Miriam's writing now. When Sheldon and I first met, we felt no cultural disconnect despite our disparate geographical backgrounds. We had our Jewish heritage in common, yes, but we also meshed thanks to the contemporary values evinced? Is this supposed to be like evidenced, but not? What word is this? No, it didn't copy the word. Give me this word. I don't know this word. I will look up the word.
Events.
Okay, I was right. Revel the presence of a quality or feeling. Be evidenced of or indicate. There we go. Evinced. By our respective countries. Independence and industry, patriotism and philanthropy, democracy and decency, courage and moral charity. Like even the best of marriages, the U.S.-Israeli relationship has suffered the occasional rough patches, domestic tiffs, misperceived as serious rifts. But writ large, this special relationship has only deepened and flourished thanks to shared values and destiny. Sabra is an Israeli woman. Thank you. In nuptial terms, our countries celebrated their golden anniversary more than 20 years ago. We are now at platinum, a miracle of preciousness, radiance, and endurance. There's a lot of, there's a lot of rhetoric in this article. There's a lot of, I don't want to call it bloviating yet, because I'm not sure if it's going that far, but it's flowery, I think is the word I'm looking for. And the man who most deserves credit for this is President Donald J. Trump. And now it's bloviating. Now I've decided that it's bloviating. Under his watch, America has finally made good on its decades-old pledge to formally recognize Jerusalem and Israel's capital and move the U.S. Embassy there. Wasn't Jared Kushner put in charge of this? Okay. This article, unfortunately, did not age well considering the current political turmoil in Palestine. Just saying. In another service to historical justice, Trump declared the Golan Heights to be Israeli territory, and in service to the security of Israel and the whole world, he withdrew the United States from a nuclear deal with Iran that was a contemporary echo of the Munish agreement, whatever, Munish, I don't know. Trump and his senior staff have also purged the sewer that was a so-called peace process slitted by dishonesty and hypocrisy. Oh no. Oh. Their administration has made it clear that the Middle East must come to terms with an Israel that is proudly permanent in the land of Zion, an Israel whose Jewish roots run deep and whose ancestral sovereign claims are without equal. Maybe, I don't... There would be the Gospels of Bannon Miller and Ivanka. He was crucified in D.C. and resurrected 3 months later in Mar-a-Lago. This stuff writes itself. Yo, Ray, you on point, man. Trump is a man of his word. That's the whole sentence. What's the point in reading any more of this? Trump is a man of his word. On the campaign trail, he promised to protect Israel and move the embassy to Jerusalem, to quit the Iran deal, and he kept those promises, unlike previous presidents who traded principle for political expediency. Trump is a businessman. He sees an Israel that gets things done with ingenuity and resourcefulness against the odds and fickle consensus. These are the kinds of people he likes to deal with. Trump is a patriot. He is keenly aware of the cost to the United States of losing credibility. Hey, you guys remember the Paris Accord meetings when everybody was laughing at him? Or not, yeah, the Paris deal about climate change. Or like, just the fact that he's embarrassing. Yeah, okay. The world rallies to an America that is strong, and this strength is best shown by keeping faith with U.S. allies, of which Israel is the best. Okay, listen, I'm from Canada, and I don't know how much everybody knows about this, but Canada and America are kind of really close together, like really side by side, geographically speaking, and we have a lot of deals and things that we kind of allow each other to get away with, or like agree that we let each other do when it comes to trade and copyright and immigration and travel, and we work really closely together on things like that. And we went to war with you. Whenever you guys start a war, we tend to be like, I guess, we help you out. And, you know, you guys had some really bad fires, and Canada sent some people to be like, hey, you guys okay down there? Let us help you out. I don't know if people know how much Canada and America work together a lot, and if you want to say Israel is the best, I mean, maybe, probably Canada is America's best ally, and maybe Trump kind of fucked a lot of that up when he decided to randomly put tariffs on us and treat us like garbage. But on the plus side, it seems to me, not that I know, but it seems to me that Canada's just pretending Trump didn't happen. Like our political parties and our the way we're negotiating business and stuff, we were just like, okay, Trump's gone, back to business as usual. We're gonna pretend these tariffs and this insult to our country just didn't happen. We're just gonna let that go. We're gonna put that in a little box and be like, okay, Trump goes in this box over here. We're gonna just act like this didn't happen, and we're back to business as usual. Cool, great, thanks. So like it's just oh. Of course. Best keeping faith with U.S. allies, and Israel's the best U.S. ally. Of course. Naturally. Okay, fine. I'm not hurt. I'm not insulted. I don't know. It's fine. By rights, Trump should enjoy sweeping support among U.S. Jews just as he does among Israelis. Is that the case? Does Trump have, like, sweeping support in Israel and from the Israeli people and from people in America who are Israeli? I don't know. I'm asking. I have no clue if that's the case. It's not like this article has any sources or cites anything, so... That this has not been the case so far, the 2020 election still beckons, is an oddity that will long be pondered by historians. I don't know if that's true. Why? Okay, hold on. All right, so ignoring my question about the Israeli people supporting Trump or not, she's saying that Trump should enjoy sweeping support amongst the Jews, and that fact that he didn't and doesn't in 2019, in 2020, and in 2021, the fact that he doesn't is something that's an oddity that will be pondered by historians. He supported Nazis. Why would Jewish people want to support somebody supporting Nazis? I really don't think this is an oddity that's to be pondered by historians. People remember Charlottesville? People were marching in the streets with Nazi symbolism. What do you... What? I don't know what world this woman lives in. Hi, Puck. Scholars of the Bible will no doubt note the heroes, sages, and prophets of antiquity who were similarly spurned by the very people they came to rise up. Oh. It would be... Would it be too much to pray for a day when the Bible gets a Book of Trump, much like it has a Book of Esther, celebrating the deliverance of the Jews from ancient Persia? Yeah, I think it would be. Until that is decided, let us at least sit back and marvel at this time of miracles for Israel, for the United States, and for the whole world. Oh, this does not age well. Immediately. Hey, has anybody considered that maybe that the God of Abraham is not happy with the United States deciding to interfere in Israel's business and has sent a plague? Has anybody considered that being a possibility? I'm just wondering. I'm just asking questions. I don't know. Maybe. What if their God is the wrong one and the Palestinians have the right one, and the Palestine God is punishing the Israelites for being like calling Big Brother America down? I don't know. Whatever. I'm Canadian. I don't know any of this stuff. I don't know what to think about this. Dr. Miriam Adelson is co-owner with her husband Sheldon Adelson of the Las Vegas Review-Journal and is a publisher of the Israeli Hayam newspaper, which last month hosted the Free Israel Forum for U.S.-Israeli relations in Jerusalem. Yippee. I mean, at least it told us that at the end. Lady, I don't know what world you're living in, but it's not this one? It's not the one that everybody else is living in, I guess. I don't know. Again, this was written in 2019, to be fair, so I don't know how this person feels about the current political climate and the current things that are going on there. I would like to think with this democracy and decency, courage, and moral clarity, you would not be encouraging what's been going on, but given what you've said further down in the article, it makes me think that maybe you probably are good with that, but, you know, All I know is now I want to see a book of Trump. Penned by Trump. Trump needs to write a book about how to be president. How to be president for dummies. Or something, or a book about his experience, because I think that'd be valuable, and I think that would be interesting. It would be really interesting to take a look at Donald Trump's life through the eyes of Donald Trump. Do you know what I mean? Like, we can analyze and look at his life and see what he's done and what he hasn't done, and see what he's lying about here, why he's lying about this here, but we can't. There's no better way to get, like, to try to be able to understand somebody than having them describe their own situation and what their thought process was at the time. So the same way people like to read something like Mein Kampf, I would value reading a book written by Donald Trump about Donald Trump's experiences. And I feel like he would have to write it in the third person. He'd be like, Donald Trump is I, and I am Donald Trump. Donald Trump is writing this to express to you that Donald Trump is the best. And Donald has all of the best words. And he never uses I or he or him. He always writes out Donald. No, he's got to write out the whole name. What's his middle name? I don't know. Donald J. Trump, but you actually write out the middle name. I don't remember what his middle name is. I don't care that much. I'm not American. It's not my job to know his whole name. Truffle says Trump can't write or read. Okay, well, have somebody annotate it for him. He can speak it, and then they can write it down. I'm okay with that, too. It would be so rambly. You'd have to edit it so heavily just to make it coherent, and even then it wouldn't make any sense at all. But, oh my god. Can he write it from jail, though, for all of his tax evasion? It's just Trump writing a diary while he's in jail. It's just describing his life. I mean, I can only imagine what that dude's life was like growing up with, like, in the situation that he lived in to cause him to become the person he is by now. Like, I can only imagine. And what an interesting person to actually just sit down and have a conversation with. Like, I understand why it'd be very difficult to try and have a conversation with him about politics while he was the president, and how difficult it would be to have a conversation with him about anything during that period of time. But now that he's not president anymore, just to get him to sit down in a room and just have a conversation, like, don't argue with him. There's clearly no point in arguing with somebody like that. Just sit down and talk. And be like, what do you think about this? Like, I'm not here to judge you. I'm just, why? Who are you? Explain to me who you are. Who is your daddy and what does he do? That'd be amazing. I don't want him to have a ghostwriter. I just want somebody to annotate it for him. There. So. But yeah, I think I agree with the scholar here that they spoke to. What was his name? Let me just look real quick. Who was the scholar they spoke to? Oh, Dr. Joel M. Hoffman. I agree with Dr. Joel M. Hoffman. I do not think a book of Trump, even if it were decided to be divinely inspired, would make it into the Bible now. It wouldn't be added now. It might be added to a lot of churches. Like, a lot of churches might pick it up and spread it around as, like, an addendum, I guess. But it wouldn't be in the Bible. It wouldn't be added after Revelation. It wouldn't be added to Bible canon because it's not, it wouldn't make sense. It's clearly not, where would you put it? The Bible kind of ended. It has an ending. So, what are you gonna shove it in before Revelation somewhere? I don't... Is it John? Is his name Donald John Trump? Isn't his last name not actually Trump? It was something changed. Wasn't it like Drump or something? Can you use his real name? I'm pretty sure John Oliver did a whole bit about that. But yeah, I can't imagine it getting added to the Bible. Like I said, it might end up being sort of something like the Bible 2, Electric Boogaloo. Like, what are you gonna... I mean, I guess that would be an appropriate name. I don't know. But... I'm sure there'll be a biography. I can't imagine that somebody's not going to write or take advantage of writing a Trump biography. That's for sure. I wouldn't be surprised if it was one of his kids ends up writing it. But those are people I would actually be interested in talking to too. I would be interested in talking to Eric and Don Jr. because they both seem like they have. Can you imagine trying to grow up with Trump as a dad? Like, bruh, I feel nothing but pity. A lot of people have a bad home life, but god damn, I can't. Jesus Christ, I would be interested in having conversations with them and just talking, because you could see it every so often when one of them is getting interviewed. They get asked a question about their dad and they just like nom flashbacks in their brain. It's like, whoa, some shit. It's the same way I feel for Eric Hovind. Like, Kent Hovind as a dad who used to brag to churches about how he used to beat him up. I can't, like, that sucks, dude. That sucks. And so these are life situations I'd be interested to hear about. I'd be interesting to hear about what it would be like to grow up with Trump as a dad. And so, I don't know. Be interesting. Drumpf, his grandfather changed it. Also, grandpa was a draft dodger and ran brothels. Oh. Hey, listen, I don't like to foo-foo on brothels, okay? Like, sex work's legitimate. There's no reason it should be not legal and made safe for people. So, you know, I'm down for running brothels. Just run them well. Although, I don't know. Somebody in Trump's family was successful at something at some point. Clearly. But, I don't know. I'm not sure why we're giving all of the credit for Israel stuff to Trump, though, because wasn't it... Are we sure we're going to give this to Trump, or are we going to hand this right over to Jared Kushner, which is exactly what he did to Jared Kushner? That dude looks uncomfortable 24/7. Anything I've ever seen of Jared Kushner makes him look like an uncomfortable dude. Jared Kushner. I don't think I've ever seen a picture of him where he doesn't look uncomfortable. Tell me I'm wrong. This dude just looks uncomfortable 24/7. Poor guy. I would run a great brothel. I would totally be down to run. I would run a bar/brothel, and it would be fantastically amazing, and I would love every second of it. I'd be down to do that. For sure. Give me the funding. Go fund me. I'm gonna start a brothel. Alright. That's it for that article. I think I think it's more of like a... I mean, you can pray for something like that all you want, but it's just not the way things are set up, so it wouldn't be something that would be likely to happen. Whether or not there's another sort of religious thing that goes on, so you end up with like another sect that's like a branch off of Christianity that no other Christian branch is going to accept that you exist. So same way like most Christian and Catholicism sects do not accept the KKK as like, yeah, no, they're part of our group. No, they don't accept that. So, I mean, maybe the KKK will have a branch that will have like a Trumpism branch of the KKK. I don't know. Maybe that could happen. Or the Westboro Baptist Church. maybe, but no, I don't think Christianity on a whole would accept Trumpism, but I'd do that. I'd move to Nevada to start a brothel. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I'd do, yeah. I'm down. I'm 100% down. Somebody start a GoFundMe for it. She'll do fundraisers. Hell yeah. Fundraise me a brothel. Canada has decriminalized prostitution. It's not legal, technically. I don't think. There might be a province or two there it is, but federally, it's not legal, I don't think. But I am going to get out of here. Like and subscribe. Join the conversation on Discord by becoming a member or a Patreon. And I will see you guys on Monday for Judgment Call. So if you do want to talk about this and you want to have more conversations about how uncomfortable of a person Jared Kushner looks like, feel free to join us and feel free to call in. And that's it for me. Monday will not have D&D because that is bi-weekly, so our D&D Monday fundraiser will be not this Monday coming up, the next Monday coming up. And that's at 7 p.m. Thanks everybody for coming. This was mostly just for funsies. I'm surprised this guy took these questions as seriously as he did. Props to Dr. Joel M. Hoffman for taking this seriously when no, I don't think anybody else did. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.